Good morning. Very well done on your maths yesterday with the at least 4 digit by 1 digit and using that multiplication method. That's going to come in handy later in the week. Today, we're going to look at doing, as you can see here, 2 digit numbers multiplied by 2 digit numbers. Now, this is something we have touched on ever so briefly in our arithmetic on a Friday. And what we're going to do today and then tomorrow is build on the style that we would actually need to be able to go and solve these questions. So today it's 2 digit by 2 digit, but considering the use of partitioning. Now we know partitioning means breaking a number up into its individual place value columns. And we're going to do so on this number here, 12. So we know that 12 can be broken down into a 10, because there's one 10, and then a 2. Because there are 2 ones. And it's using this partition number that we are going to apply to the 64. So we will do 64 multiplied by 10 and 64 multiplied by 2. Now, the first part, really straightforward, because we can remember the rule here. When we're doing 64 multiplied by 10, if we were to go mathematically, we know that becomes 640 because we stick the 0 on the end. But we obviously are better than that. I know the mathematical reason why is because 64 is getting 10 times bigger. And that's what that 0 is actually indicating. So we know this first part is 640, which is going to help us work out the answer eventually. But we need to work out this, 64 multiplied by 2. Now, some of you, potentially like me, could do that in your head straight away. 2 lots of 4 is 8. 2 lots of 60, 120. Add them together, 128. But there's no reason why we can't apply our work from yesterday. We can do ourselves this multiplication method. 2 multiplied by 4, 8. 2 multiplied by 6, or 6 tens, gives us 12 tens. And obviously, it's 128. So if you can do it in your head, that's fine. But I would encourage all of you, even in your head, just like me, I would always do this to make sure that I'm right by checking. Now what we need to do is see we've got our 2 parts, our 2 partitioned elements. That's not our answer. To work out our answer, we then need to add these together. So we need to do 640 add 128. Now we obviously know how this works. 0 add 8 is 8. 4 add 2, 6. 6 add 1 is 7. So by doing this partition method, we have worked out that 64 multiplied by 12 is 768. Let's have a look at another example to help you out. Here, 86 multiplied by 34. Let's take the second smaller number, and the first step we do is partition it. 34 partitioned becomes 30, and it becomes 4. And we know, just as with the previous example, we're going to multiply 86 by both of these elements. Now, this time round, it's not as straightforward with our 30 as it was with our 10. But if we remember when we have looked at this and multiplying by multiples of 10, we can see we have a 3. Even though it's 3 tens, this 3 is going to help us because we can do as our first step 86 multiplied by 3. Because sometimes we have to do other work to help us reach the answer we want. So 6 multiplied by 3 we know to be 18. And 3 multiplied by 8, or 8 tens, is 24 tens. Add 1 is 25. So 258. But 86 times 30 isn't 258. That's the multiply by 3. But we know, just as with our 10, it's 10 times bigger if it's 30. 3 is multiplied by 10, 30. So we can add that 0 on, so we have 2,580. So 86 multiplied by 30 is 2,580. We then go and do the same down here. 86 multiplied by 4. No one can really work that out in the head without being confident. So we'll do 86 multiplied by 4 down here. 6 multiplied by 4 is 24. 4 multiplied by 8 tens, or 4 multiplied by 8 is 32. 32 add 2, 34. So 86 multiplied by 4 is 344. And just as with the previous example, you are probably all shouting at the screen now what it is you need to do. And we know what we need to do. We've got to add those two partitioned elements to go in to be added together. So 0 add 4, 4, 8 add 4 we know to be 12, 5 add 3 add 1 is 9, because we remember to exchange, and 2 add nothing is 2. So we can see that 86 multiplied by 34 is 2,924. That's a lot of working out to get there. And the efficient method is what we'll be looking at tomorrow. But it's this understanding of the partition, it's what we need to be able to understand what we will do tomorrow. So as you've seen me lay out on both of these two examples, that's what Mrs. Williams and I are expecting you to do. Once you've done that, you obviously have section A, section B to select from. The section B is slightly more challenging in the sense we have more of these numbers similar to that second example. But either or, it's going to be working on that partitioning. And then you have your think, your solve, your explain. My advice to you on the think is just read. You've got two numbers in each part. Well, we know what we're working on in the maths, so that's probably going to tell you what you need to do. Likewise, here for the solve, Amir hasn't finished his calculation. Oh no, he'd be staying in the break if he was in school, so you help him. Finishing the missing information that he hasn't maybe quite done right in this, and show us what is 42 multiplied by 46. And likewise here would explain, Eva is telling us something. Well, she's made a mistake, because it tells us what mistake has Eva made. If she's doing 23 multiplied by 57, well, what is the answer? Think about what she's doing. Would that get to the same answer? Obviously it won't. Why? What has she done wrong? Okay, if you have any problems, you need to ask Mrs. Williams. All right, but we will obviously be able to go through some of this at 10 o'clock. Okay, just have a refresh. Anything at all that you need to know before then, ask away. Okay, all the best, and we will see you later on.